how to stay poor. Number 1 is start tomorrow. Number 2, read books, do nothing. So just keep reading, keep consuming, take no action. It's the best way to just stay poor. Next one, take advice from poor people on how to get rich. Best people to talk to, right? And all your friends are poor, you should totally listen to them on how to get rich because they've never achieved it, so you should listen to them. It's a great way to stay poor. They have no idea, right? Don't listen. So, and obviously with each of these, you can take the equal opposite. And so instead of starting tomorrow, start today. Instead of reading books and doing nothing, read the books and then take immediate action. Instead of taking advice from poor people on how to get rich, take advice from rich people on how to get rich. Number 4, how to stay poor. Pick a spouse who makes you feel guilty about working. Yeah, have the number one person in your who literally influences you more than anyone else make you feel terrible about the thing that's going to help you achieve your goal. That's what you should do. Of course, you want to find somebody who supports your goal, who's either in it with you or they're cheering you on from the sideline. And the real thing is that most people don't even have a cheerleader. Most people have somebody who's at home, doesn't even have the channel turned to the game that they're playing on, and is just calling their cell phone the whole time while they're on the game and the game's on the line. They're trying to make this winning pass and trying to get them to get out of the game when the game's on the line. That's what most people have.
Right.
And so, like, people think they have a cheerleader when, like, most people would just benefit from not even having a liability, just a neutral. Number 5, think the world is fair. Most people will sit there and complain for years about how the world isn't fair rather than accepting the fact the world isn't fair and then making money as a result of that.
Yes.
Right? They just sit there. Fail once, quit forever. So you finally get the mojo to actually start, fail once, and then just quit. Just do that, because that'll help you stay poor. Because the worst thing you could do is try again. Because if you try it again, you might get rich. How to stay poor. Expect the government to save you. How to stay poor. Value the opinion of others over your own. Right? Because all the people around you, especially if you're poor, probably are also poor, and you should value their opinions who don't like the stuff that you're doing that makes them feel bad about themselves. Because when you start working, you stop not drinking, you start going to exercise, start eating healthier, you start listening to podcasts, you start watching YouTube videos, they walk in and, hey, why don't you watch Netflix? It's like, all right, I want to watch this right now. Oh, come on, more of that motivation stuff. Like, yeah, just get people like that in your corner and they will just beat you down until eventually you won't be successful. So that'll just keep you there. It's a good one to have in your back pocket. How to stay poor. Avoid discomfort. As soon as it gets uncomfortable, just stop. This is what hard feels like. Yucky bears. How to stay poor. Make promises, break promises. Repeat. That's it. So just keep making promises and then breaking them over and over. Yeah, and especially to yourself. How to stay poor. Tolerate mediocrity. From yourself first and foremost, and others. Yeah, I mean, it's the best thing to do is just have a bunch of mediocre people around you, and especially yourself. How to stay poor. Blame your circumstances. Put all the power that would normally be in you and give it to something that you have no control over. It's a winner. It's a great combo. This is a good one. How to stay poor. Wait for perfect conditions. I mean,
because they're coming eventually.
Yeah, eventually they're coming. And you know what it also means is that if you wait for perfect conditions, it means that if in the future, after you have started in your perfect condition, if the conditions become imperfect again, it assumes that you'll stop.
Perfect.
Right. It's just like saying, I'll start when I'm not as busy. It's like, does that mean that when you get busy again in the future, you're going to stop? For all those people who are trying to start their weight loss journey, by the way. If you want it to be forever, then you have... This is a belief I can give to the audience real quick. If you want it to be forever, then you have to assume that you're going to be busy again in the future. And so if you want to endure, the best time to start is when you're busy. Because then you learn how to do it when you're busy, so that when you're not busy, it's easy. And when you're busy again, you can think, I've already done this before, I know I can get. So it's one of my favorite ones. How to stay poor. Do what everyone else is doing. It's just such an easy one. Just do what everyone else is doing. Because I mean, think about it. If you want to be in the top 1%, don't act like the 1%. Act like the 99. Just emulate the people who are also not succeeding. How to stay poor. Avoid working on what matters most. Right? So take action.
Just distract yourself sometimes,
100%. Just do busy work. Yeah. Do things that don't actually add value. Do stuff that it just like gets your juices flowing, but actually doesn't drive the business because you just love continually editing the same thing over and over again, rather than just making the 100 cold calls that you said you were going to do and you haven't done for 10 days straight. Instead of doing that, which you know is going to make you more money, be afraid of it.
Yeah.
And avoid working on it.
Absolutely.
There you go.
That's perfect.
It's a winning combo. How to stay poor. Do your best, not what it takes. So many people, they're like, I did my best. And the real talk is like, did you really? And then the second line underneath of that is that oftentimes when we start, our best is beneath what is required. And the sub answer of that is that we just need to be better. How to stay poor. Oh, this is a good one. Prioritize looking rich over being rich. Spend the small amount of excess money you have on looking wealthy rather than increasing your earning capacity. Because then you'll never be able to get out of it, right? Because you're stuck in these leases and you don't have excess cash flow to actually invest in the earnings power. So you basically just sit there looking rich and being poor the whole time, and then you also feel like a fraud. How to stay poor. Be born in a dead-end town. Don't move. Yeah.
Stay there.
Stay there.
Stay in the bad environment.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, if you're like, I want to get into show business and I'm in Cincinnati, it's like, then stay in Cincinnati. Best thing you can do. How to stay poor. Say you're going to do something, don't do it. That's just a winner. That's a timeless classic. How to stay poor. Talk more, do less. Especially if you can talk publicly. You know what I mean? And because it actually makes you feel better to tell people that you're going to do them, because it makes you feel like you're doing them by telling them. Reality hasn't changed at all, but you feel better. Right. And it's a great way to stay poor. Because it satisfies that temporary itch. Right when you feel bad, you talk about it more. How to stay poor. Start something new today, start something new tomorrow, repeat.
Every day, start something new.
100%. Start building that bridge, and then start building another bridge tomorrow, and another bridge, and then you look back 5 years from now, and you'll have a whole bunch of half-built bridges and no dollars that ever came across. But the nice thing is it makes you feel like you're making progress because you have all these half-built bridges. So I think that's a good one if you want to stay poor, because you could stay busy on that one for a long time. Because if you focused on something, you might actually follow through, and then you might make money. And so that's not the goal of staying poor. So you have to do that. How to stay poor. Believe what other people think of you more than what you think of you.
Right.
Your parents especially, so deep. How to stay poor. Be replaceable. This is also really for the employees. If you can think of a way that you can do the same thing everyone else can do and do it a little bit worse. How to stay poor. Complain about things you can control and then don't change them. How to stay poor. Make a mistake. Repeat the mistake. Especially if you date a certain kind of person, it's always the same person. Just
keep
do it again.
That. Just do that pattern.
Do it again. Yeah, you get stuck at a certain point of business because you always get sidetracked and you start some side thing and then both things explode. Do it again. You know what I mean? Like, you hire a terrible manager that has these traits, hire him again, right? It looks like the same person, just repeat it over and over again. It'll just, how to stay poor. Assume you're always right. And if somebody has advice who's further along than you, don't listen. Yeah, I mean, because you're always right. And what would they know? They've never lived your life. They've never gone through what you're about to go through. The fastest way to make more money is to gain access or buy access to communities of people who are making more money. Because there are so many intangibles that come from those communities, masterminds, Facebook groups, whatever you can get access to, that you'll learn so many perspectives that you have that are wrong. Like, it's too hard to quantify one because there's thousands of micro beliefs. And so it's spend less than you make, take the money that you're now saving and invest it in your earning capacity, and then get around those people who you want to emulate, who are all on the same path as you. Because one of the best ways to become an amazing swimmer is to join a champion swim team. Because you get all, like Angela Duckworth looked at this inside of Grit, that book, her book. It's like one of the best ways is that you just adopt all of the culture, the beliefs of the group of people who are further ahead. The amount of money you make is proportional to the amount of leverage you employ in your life. And so, 4 times. of leverage. This is not mine. This is Naval Ravikant's, but I'll just say that. So you've got labor. I use 4 C's because it's easier for me to remember. He says labor, I say collaboration. So funny that you said that earlier.
Yeah.
But it's just getting other people to basically use their time, right, for your cause. The second level of leverage is other people's money, is getting people to invest in your thing. And then the next two are, so these two are permissionless, the first one's like you need to get someone's permission to work for you, and you get someone's permission to give you their money. The other two are permissionless, so you can do them on your own. One is media, which is what you have here, because the cost of making one video and having one person see it versus 1 million people see it is the same cost, right? And then the other is code, right? So I say content and code. So those are my 4 C's. So collaboration, capital, content, code. And and those are not binaries. It's not, am I using other people? Am I not using other people? It's to what extent am I using other people? Do I use other people's money? Yes or no? No. It's how much of other people's money am I using? And so each of these are continuums, not binaries. So like somebody could just use other people's money and be a billionaire because of the extent they use it. But those are the types of leverage that exist. And so as my income went up, it was by proportion to the amount of leverage I was employing. When I built the biggest companies that I've had and now recently sold, and now we have our portfolio, it was about how do we make the most money? And I know that sounds completely backwards, but the only way that you can make the most money is to provide an exceptional valued service and charge a ton of money for it. And because I optimized around making money, I started going for low capital expense businesses because I had lost everything after that 5-year stint. And so I was like, never again am I going to reinvest every dollar from the business back into the business because I've lost it before. So when I started the next business and every business I've had thereafter, like we take dividends every month. People always talk about like reinvesting in their business, but I realized that just meant that they weren't making profit. And so the vast majority of businesses, even the software world is somewhat shifting in this, but they want to see profit. And then even better is if you have net free cash flow, which is just a fancy word for the amount of money that you can take out every month after making necessary investments in the business. And so I wanted to have businesses that pumped cash flow because I had lost it all before. And so I think there's a lot of, like every one of my business seasons, I would say I've had 3 business seasons. I had my gym ownership period. I had my turnaround and early gym launch day period. And then I had Prestigious Labs, the licensing business in Allen. That was like my last season.
Where you exited all of them.
Yeah. And then I'd say like now we're in our 3rd season, I guess. So brick and mortar gyms, licensing, supplements, and software. And then, 3rd season is what we have now. And each of those has a huge magnitude of leverage that was added to it. And so, this like gym launch was started on accident in that I was like, this might be a way that I can make money.